I want to tell you about a woman who came to a workshop with me a long time ago. And it was right at the end of the workshop, with very little time left. And she raised her hand and she said, I have a problem and I want you to fix it. So I have a problem, I want you to fix it, and it's right at the end of the workshop. Sometimes I'm kind of bold, so I said, well, let's see what we can do. Please describe your problem. And I'm going to make it shorter, but basically what she said was, I love my job. It is the perfect job for me. I really love my job. I said, well, that's fine, but what's the problem? I hate my boss. I love my job, I hate my boss, and I think I'm going to have to quit, and I don't want to help. Okay. So remember, I don't have much time. So I said, let's find out what questions you've been asking yourself that you probably don't know you've been asking, and then we'll take it from there. So in short order, we discovered 2 questions that she was asking herself over and over like a closed loop in her mind. The first one was, how is he going to make me look bad today? And the second one was, what's he going to do wrong? So I ask you, did this gentleman have a chance? No. When he walked into a room where she was, he walked into an ambush that was set by the way she was thinking. And the way she was thinking was set by the questions she was asking, and she did not know that. So in that sense, she was innocent. She didn't understand what she was doing that contributed to this situation. And frankly, most of us don't understand how we're thinking that's contributing to whatever dilemma we're in. Remember, I don't have much time. So I said to her, would you consider asking yourself some new questions? And she said yes. And these are the 2 questions that I gave her. The first was, what is there to understand and appreciate about this gentleman? And the second one was, what can I do to make him look good? Well, this poor woman looked like I had hit her with a 2x4. You know, when people go like that, there's sort of smoke coming out of their ears. And the reason was the questions I gave her did not fit naturally into the way she was thinking, by design, of course. She wrote them down very dutifully, and typically that would be the end of it, because I give workshops all over the country, in fact, sometimes all over the world, and I typically don't see people after a workshop. As it happens, I know this woman and her husband, and I ran into them at a social event months later, and I saw her across the way. She was getting something to eat. I hadn't seen her since the workshop, and I went, oh, I wonder what's happened. And then she turned around and she saw me and she grinned, and I was relieved. And she comes rushing over and said, would you like to hear some miracles? I said, sure, I love miracles. She said, here's what's happened since that workshop. First of all, I'm still at my job. Secondly, I got a promotion. Thirdly, I got a raise. And fourthly, my boss and I have a much better relationship. In fact, we have volunteered to work on a committee together, and before that, we wouldn't be in the same room if we could help it. I said, that's fabulous. I can understand why you think it's a miracle. It wasn't a miracle. It was a method. There was a method in how I crafted those questions for her to ask herself. It's the same method that we'll be working with the rest of the day. Okay, so her husband comes over. He is truly a very laid-back, kind of sardonic guy. So I said, isn't that fabulous what she's been able to do since that workshop? And he goes, and I swear it was like this, he goes, Yeah. It's pretty good. I looked at him, I said, pretty good, what could be better? And then he grins and said, she doesn't complain about that guy for an hour every night anymore. So, there are actually 5 results from this interaction that she and I had, which really was only like 10 or 15 minutes because it was at the end of the workshop. So she kept her job, she got a promotion, she got a raise, she got a better relationship with her boss and a better relationship with her husband. This is not a coincidence. Why? Because the nature of questions, how they operate in our minds, it's like an operating system. And they pretty much program how we think, how we feel, how we act, and the results that we get.